Hey guys, I'm Saumya, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the books that I read in the month of July. I know it's kind of late to post a wrap-up video, but then I always talk about the books that I read the previous month and I don't want to change that. So this is my channel, Saumya's Bookstation, and I make videos on this channel spreading all the book love that I can. So if you are a reader or you want to begin the habit of reading, you should definitely consider subscribing. And if you like my videos, please do not forget to hit the like button. And also do not forget to press the bell icon so that every time I post a video, you get notified. Let's get into the video. The first book is Sea of Poppies by Amitav Ghosh. This is the first book in the much acclaimed Ivy's trilogy, and I'm finally into this trilogy and I'm so happy. So in this story, a ship called Ibis is taking a lot of Indian people from India to Mauritius. For different people, the reasons to board Ibis are different. Some of them are part of the crew, some of them have boarded the ship so that they can go to Mauritius and make money to send back to their families in India. Some of them are actually convicts that have been punished by law. And some of the people are trying to escape their unfortunate circumstances. And as these people board Ibis to sail away to Mauritius, they're actually breaking their ties with their motherland, and they are just going to this unknown place to make new lives for themselves. The magnitude of this story is immense, and this is a very, very special story to me and very close to my heart because it's about people from my own country. And even though this is supposed to be fiction, it actually is more like a fictionalized account of what really happened. I mean, people were shipped from India to different parts of the world. Some were shipped to the Caribbean, some were shipped to Mauritius. Some of the characters are farmers, some of the characters come from Indian royalty, some characters work under the British, some characters come from another part of the world altogether. Basically, each and every character comes with his or her own story, and these stories form the subplots of this entire book, which contributes to the fact that a lot is going on. This was actually my first book by Amitav Ghosh, and I understand why people respect him so much and why people love his work so much. He's truly a master storyteller. It took me a little bit longer to finish this book because firstly, this is not really a light read. Secondly, it's a lengthy book. Thirdly, the font is kind of small. And even though I felt that this book got a little bit slow from time to time, I was actually able to understand the reason for that. It's a story that has a huge scope. So even if it gets a little bit slow from time to time, I really am ready to overlook that as a reader. And I really do want to be able to read the other two books from the trilogy as soon as I can. The next book is Cersei by Madeline Miller. So this is a story about Cersei, who is the daughter of the sun god Helios, and despite being the daughter of sun god, she does not really look that divine or sound very divine, and because of this, other gods scorn her and she is treated like an outcast. Nobody cares about her. But eventually love comes in her life, and driven by her passion for her lover, Cersei casts a dark spell one day, and because of this, she's completely banished by gods to an island that nobody visits. So on this island, Cersei basically discovers and experiments with her strength, which is witchcraft. So in this story, Cersei turns her weaknesses to strengths, and she goes on from being an underdog to becoming somebody really formidable. She basically becomes that badass character that you really admire. Cersei's character becomes an inspiration because she teaches the reader that you are not weak, you just haven't found your strength. Not a moment in this book comes when you are bored or when you want to put this book down. It's a book that you can read in a single sitting if you have time on your hand. Everything about this book is great, and if you pick it up, you are not going to be disappointed. The next book is Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan. So an extremely rich matriarch from Singapore is on her deathbed. So when her family members learn about this, they fly in from all the parts of the world. Some of them are genuinely concerned about her health, while others are just there to stake a claim on her massive fortune. In this book, you can expect a lot of drama that is happening because all these characters have their own stories, and you get to read about their stories from time to time. That forms the entire book. Now, honestly, I was expecting that this was going to be a book full of drama and it's going to be light-hearted and I'm going to be entertained, which I was. But then again, for a book of this genre, I thought the story was a bit too long because it stretched from time to time and it became boring. It's not a bad read, but I'm not too crazy about this book either. The next book is Calling Sehmat by Harinder Sikka. I was not planning on reading this book initially, but I was browsing through Amazon and this book just came up, so I thought I should order it. And as soon as it was delivered, I started reading this book and I loved this book. It is based on a true story. The story in this book is so incredible that it prompted me to watch Razi, which is the movie adaptation of this book. So a college-going Kashmiri girl is married into an influential Pakistani family and she basically serves as a spy, and she passes on crucial information to Indian intelligence, and the information that she passed on came in really handy during the Indo-Pak War of 1971. As for this book, it's a very good book. The story is fast-paced, the language is simple, there is no beating around the bush, it gets straight to the point. If I say that I was in awe of that girl after I read this book, that would be a gross understatement. I have no words to describe what I felt when I read this book. I mean, the kind of presence of mind and focus she must have had. Not to forget that what she did was an act of bravery beyond measure. And to be honest, words cannot really express the kind of respect that I felt for her. The next book is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. So this is a YA book and it's the first one in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy. So it's a story about a 16-year-old girl named Lara Jean who writes letters to all the boys she has huge crushes on. So far she has written 5 letters and she keeps these letters in her hat box. One day what happens is that without her knowledge these letters get posted, and obviously this leads to an extremely embarrassing situation for her. Lara Jean's character is that of a girl who is not very popular in her school, who is not the prettiest girl, who is bright but nobody really pays that much attention to her. She is that sweet girl next door. She's a character that I was able to relate to way too much. That's one reason that I love this book. Another reason that I love this book is that it's an extremely adorable story revolving around high school romance. So it's an entertaining story, kind of cheesy but in a good and a pleasant way. The next book is Finding Your Gspot in Life by Geetika Sehgal. I've done a review of this book on my channel. I'll leave the link in the description. You can check it out if you want to. It's a self-help book about how you can find the perfect balance between leading a happy and a meaningful life. Because right in the beginning of the book, the author has talked about how happiness is temporary, but when you do something meaningful in your life, the effect of that remains with you. So the purpose of this book is to help you rediscover yourself as it navigates through talking about different aspects of a person's personality. It's a practical and to the point sort of a book, and it has do it for yourself sections also, which kind of nudge you to introspect about your life and where you want to go and where you are currently. The next book is Animal Farm by George Orwell. So I had been meaning to read a book by George Orwell since quite some time, and I already had 1984, but then I got my hands on Animal Farm, and since this is a novella, so I thought I'd read it first. And this book is a must read. So in this book, animals of the manor farm overthrow their human master, Mr. Jones, because they're fed up of the corrupt human rule. Initially, they form this amazing society for animals where each animal is equal, but then slowly and gradually all the evils and vices of the human society start seeping back in their own animal society. Corruption starts happening, and what was supposed to be an equal society soon turns into a fascist regime. So in this book, George Orwell has very cleverly pointed out the ugly truth about our society. This book is highly unsettling, but at the end of it, you cannot help but agreeing to whatever is being said in this book. The next book is The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. So this is a play, and the theme of this play is that how when people are attracted to somebody, they often lie about themselves so that the ones that they are attracted to like them back. So 2 men named Jack and Algernon are in love with 2 different women, but one thing that these 2 women have in common is that they both want to get married to a man named Earnest. So both these men lie about their names, and this leads to a mess because these people know each other and are related to each other. So this is a very simple sort of a story. This play was performed for the first time in 1895, so it's a really old story. It's a kind of story where things kind of go haywire for some time, but then they kind of come together. I absolutely loved it because of its simplicity, and also I really found it funny from time to time. There were things happening. The conversations between the characters were really silly to read sometimes, but they were silly in a pleasant and an entertaining way. I think you should read this book if you haven't already. It's a really light-hearted read. You will finish it in no time. So these are the books that I read in the month of July. I'm looking forward to reading some really great books in August as well. Let me know in the comment section how did your July go in terms of reading. I would love to hear from you guys. If you want to connect with me on my social media, the links are in the description box. I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.